question, first part. I don't even know if we really need to do this. Do we need to go through Pythagorean Theorem?
Yes. No. Yes. No. Yes. Yes. No.
You've learned it for 3 years. We've already did Pythagorean Theorem in measurement. We will do one question. So, okay, you know Pythagorean Theorem? Okay, so when do we use, let's talk about when we use Pythagorean Theorem. What type of triangles? Okay, it has to be a right triangle. Pythagorean does not work if it's not a right triangle. Okay, so first thing is it only works for right triangles.
Wait, actually?
Yes, actually. If it's not a right triangle, a squared plus b squared equals c squared does not work. What about, there is technically no hypotenuse if it's not a right triangle. Okay? So that's all for just right triangles, that theory. So we use that when we have right triangles. What else has to be true for us to use Pythagorean?
You need 3 sides.
You need 3 sides, or you need to know how many sides? You need to know 2 sides to find a third. So you have to know 2 sides. I don't know, do you? Do you know that? Then you're good. Write it if you need it. Okay, so let's move on. If we have 2 sides, you can use Pythagorean. Good to go. Good to move on. Okay, isn't that nice? So let's talk about using trigonometry to find a missing length. So what happens? You always need to know 2 pieces of information. If you know 2 sides, you can use Pythagorean. Or if you know 1 angle and 1 side, we can use Sohcahtoa to find an unknown length. And that's what we're going to learn about today. Okay? So as long as you know 2 pieces of information. So for example, look at this triangle here, ABC. Do you notice how I know 2 pieces of information? Okay, what are the 2 pieces of information I know about this triangle? Angle A length, angle A, and side length AC. Now when I say no 2 pieces of information, I mean other than the 90 degrees. Right? I'm talking about we need to know one of the acute angles, and we need to know a side length. Then we can find any other side. So if I was looking for side X here, and I have the angle of 52, what I want to do to start this is start by labeling my triangle based on the given acute angle. Okay, so the given acute angle is A, so let's label what sides we have. We're going to label what we have and what we're looking for. Those 2 things. So what do we have? The hypotenuse. And we're looking for the opposite. Okay? Technically, I don't need to label adjacent because is it telling me to find adjacent? No. And the reason why I also only want to label 2 is I want to use Sohcahtoa to figure out which ratio I'm going to have to use. Sine. So, because we've labeled or we're looking opposite for opposite and we have hypotenuse, we want to use so. Because of the O and H. You with me? Good. Okay, so we're going to use the sine ratio. So that's where our formula sheet comes in handy. Our formula sheet has, on your formula sheet, sine of A equals opposite over hypotenuse. Okay, for now I want you to get in the habit of writing these formulas down. Because what the problem I find is that when students don't write down the formula, then they start substituting things in wrong or writing it incorrectly. I can't tell you how many times I see this. Sine equals x over 25, say. That is incorrect. What is missing in that formula? Well, grab your formula sheets. Hey, your angle. You're right. You're missing the angle. The formula is actually sine of your angle. You can call it A, you can call it theta, you can call it 43 degrees. I don't care. Whatever it is. But it's sine of your angle is equal to opposite over hypotenuse. Not sine equals, sine of something. Okay? So by writing down the formula, you're less likely to do that ugly, ugly stuff. that makes me angry, and then you lose marks because I will be picky about that. Got it? Got it. Word. I like that. Okay, so subbing into this formula. It's a lit. Yes. Okay, so sine of 52, the sine of my angle, sine of 52 degrees equals the opposite over hypotenuse. We said opposite is x, hypotenuse is 14.2. So from there, we're just going to isolate the formula. We're going to isolate x. I don't like... Okay, I'm going to show you something. Well, if you are still struggling with manipulation of formulas, I'm going to show you two ways to actually solve for x. What you can do is put sine 51 over 1. Or sorry, find sine 52 over 1. So now you have a fraction equals a fraction. Okay? And so that's why they're saying cross multiply. Do you remember what cross multiply is? Okay, that and that. So then 14.2 times sine 52 equals 1 times x. So we're, oh, that is not what I wanted. Let's try that again. Nope. Let's just move those arrows here. There you go. Okay, so what we're doing is we're multiplying this, right? These two equals the product of these two. That's it. It's an x. That's exactly why they call it cross multiplication. Yep, because of the x. Okay, the other way you can think about it is, which is probably better, especially if you're planning to go into like physics next year, you really need to know how to manipulate a formula. So in that concept, what we're doing is we're isolating x, and so we need to get x by itself. So what's the opposite operation? Multiply both sides by 14.2, and then these cancel. Okay, so that's usually what we like to move away from cross multiplying, especially in high school. There's a lot of cases it's not going to work, especially once you get to grade 11. And so we like to learn how to properly just manipulate a formula, we call it. Okay, so whatever, let's type that in. A little side tangent. I love saying tangent in this unit. Why do mathematicians don't need to go to the beach? They have sine and cosine to get a tan. Cosine divided by cos is equal to tan. But anyways. That's bad. So I know, I really am. I should be a stand-up comic or something. Yes, you should, because I really need new ones. It's circumference. Yeah, that's a good one. Okay, so we're just typing in 14.2 times sine 52, and we get 11.18. To one decimal place, 11.2. Okay, so let's try a problem here. A ladder that is 4.5 meters long just reaches the top of a wall. The angle between the ladder and the ground is 65 degrees. So we have a wall. We assume that the wall is true. True means a 90. Okay. 90-degree angle. It's a little like Homes on Homes term. Okay, so the angle between the ladder and the ground is 65 degrees. Where is that 65 going? Bottom right. Good. Can't go on the 90. It's not the top left because it's with the ground. And then what else do we know? Okay, the hypotenuse is 4.5. The ladder itself, because the ladder is leaning up against, right? The other angle would be what? Yeah, it would be 25. Just couldn't add for a second there. Sorry. Okay, so what are we looking for here? Make a rough sketch and determine the distance between the bottom of the ladder and the bottom of the wall. So are we looking for the vertical distance or the horizontal? Horizontal. Between the bottom of the ladder and the bottom of the wall. So that's what we're going to label X. We just want to label what we're looking for. So what's our next step once we have drawn our triangle? Before you even do that, before you can write the formula, you have to do what? Label opposite, adjacent, hypotenuse. That's step one. So we label the ones that we are given or that we're looking for. So what can we label? Hypotenuse. Well, we don't, so you can label opposite, but are we looking for it? No, we're looking for adjacent and we know hypotenuse. So now that we have it labeled and we can see, okay, we're looking for adjacent, we have hypotenuse, what's our next step? Take your, Sohcahtoa. Yeah? Sohcahtoa. Okay, Sohcahtoa. So then we look at Sohcahtoa and we have to figure out which one. Which one would it be? Does. This I like. Cosine. Why is it cosine? We have hypotenuse and we're looking for adjacent. So we want to use the ratio that has what we have and what we're looking for, those two pieces of information. We're not looking for opposite, so we don't need it. We don't even need to label it. So now we're going to set up our formula. What's the formula for cosine? Do you have your formula sheets on you? Does it say cos theta or cos A on your formula sheet? Grab your formula sheets. Take a look. Grab your formula sheets. Theta? 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 Cos theta equals adjacent divided by hypotenuse. We're going to write out our formula. And then we sub it in. Sub in what we know. Cos of 65 equals adjacent, yeah, x over 4.5. So it's up to you. You can put cos 65 over 1 and then cross multiply if you like. Or, what else are we doing? And multiply both sides. So then you get x is equal to 4.5 times cos 65. Type that in. One decimal place. 1.9? Do we all get that? You will if you're in degree mode. To the nearest tenth. Is it 2?
On our final exam, will the first part of it?
For your exam, we'll say that on the yeah, and the person that's at the mic. So usually I end up supervising the 10C exam, or one of the grade 10C teachers will supervise your test, and they'll be the one at the mic, and they'll remind you, make sure you're in degree mode.
But like on the exam itself, because for some things we have to be in grade.
No, you never have to, you never need. The only buttons it affects are sine, cos, and tan. It doesn't change any other thing in your calculator. So once you're in degree mode, it doesn't affect any other calculations. So you don't have to ever switch back. Not until you're in Math 30 do you switch back and forth. Just make sure you're in degree mode and you're good to go. Yeah. Yes. Just sad. When you reset, it's going to go back to radian. That's the default. Unless you have an Inspire, which no one in this room has an Inspire, which is a good thing because then you'll be on your own learning how to use it. So that's good. So yeah, you'll have to put in degree mode once you're there. Logically speaking, if you weren't, you should notice. Like sooner or later, you should look at your answers and be like, this is not right, and clue in, right? Or it'll give you error for every time you try and do something. So sooner or later, it'll clue in. Yes, because you didn't close your bracket. So if you go cos 65 times 4.5, you have to close the bracket for the angle and then multiply. Because if you don't close your bracket, what it's doing is you're saying that the angle is 65 times 4.5. That's what you're really saying if you do that. If you don't close it. Okay? That's why you're getting that answer. All right, next page. We're going to skip this example and go on.
Can we measure the height of the wall?
Okay, I don't like these. I'm just going to go through it ourselves. No, we're going to go to example 4. Okay, let's drop. Determine what to one decimal place the length of the hypotenuse with PQR. Power off. That's so embarrassing. Okay, triangle PQR in which angle PQR is 90. So that means really which angle is 90? Yeah, which angle? PQ or R? Q. Okay? So when you're saying PQR, they're saying the angle like from P to Q then to R. So really it's the inside one. The Q is 90. Angle PRQ is 90, so that's going to be your angle which letter? R. So we're going to put R here. And side PQ, so the P has to go on the top. And side PQ is 15.6 millimeters. Determine to one decimal place the length of the hypotenuse, which is which side? PR. What do you want to call that? You call it PR. We could call it H. We can call it X. We can call it whatever we want. Just don't call it late for dinner. It's like a dad joke. I don't know. No, it's not. I'm sorry. I apologize. Okay. Now what? What's the first step? Label. Okay. Label specifically which two? 15.6 and the H. So 15.6 would be opposite, and H is what is H? What we're looking for. The hypotenuse. Do I have to label the adjacent? Am I looking for the adjacent? Do I know the adjacent? No. So no need to label it. So now, next step. Sohcahtoa. Figure out which one of these. Sine. Okay. Sine of theta equals opposite over hypotenuse. Write out our formula. Sine of? It's wrong. No, it's not. Nope, it's not. Nope, you don't. Sine of 28 equals what divided by what? 15.6 divided by H. Okay, now we're looking for the denominator. So we're not going to multiply both sides by 15.6 because that's... So there's two ways to approach this. I'm going to show you. First way is with the cross multiplied way. So we put this over 1. We cross multiply. What happens when we cross multiply? What do we get on the left side if we multiply these two together? H, yeah, H times sine 28 equals 50. Oops, that's not what I wanted. I wanted a highlighter. Now let's multiply these two together. Equals what? 15.6. Then what's our next step? Divide both sides by the sine 28. So what happens here is we're multiplying H to both sides up. These two are switching sides, really. That's what we're doing. We're switching these two. When your unknown is on the denominator, you're actually going to end up dividing. So we're dividing 15.6. Oh, we take 15.6 divided by sine 28. So let's do that. 15.6 divided by sine 28. 33.2. Okay. Millimeters. Okay. So the algebraic way without cross multiplying, essentially you're doing the exact same thing, but your thought process is a little different. Mathematically, it's the same. So your thought process is, whenever you're looking for a variable that's on the denominator, you have to get it out of the denominator. We can't solve for something on the denominator. It has to be on the numerator. So your first step would actually be to multiply both sides by h. Is that my computer making noises? It's making noises. Okay, so we get rid of the denominator by multiplying both sides by h to get your unknown off the denominator. And then the next step is the same. Divide by sine 28. So in the end, it's the exact same thing. You're just thinking about it a little differently. Okay, but both will give you the same answer of 33.2. Now, at some point, you might be able to go from this first step and then straight to this last step here, and that's okay. Once you get strong enough,
I'm strong.
and you practice this enough, you'll get used to the fact that when you're looking for your denominator, these two are switching. You're dividing by the sign. When you're looking for your numerator, you're going to multiply by the sign. When you're looking for the numerator. Okay? So, I think this is the last question. The next one. That's good. We are doing very good today. Hooray! Use trig ratios to determine the length AB and AC in the given triangle. Answer to the correct meter. Okay, so let's start with, which one do you want to start with? AB or AC? AC or AB? AC is what you meant. Okay, let's call that what? Can we call it X? I'm very creative. You can call it happy face if you want. Emoji, I guess they call those nowadays. You can call, okay? Whatever you want.
Yeah, and then AB could be a sad face.
And AB could be. Or X, if that, or X. Okay, what's going on? Hi, Ramik. Can you label my sides for me? Okay, what's 147 going to be? Adjacent, because it's beside the 71. Okay, what would AC be? Shh. Teshkarn, do you need to leave? I'm not talking. So what is, I'm just going to call it X for simplicity. Okay, what is X? Because it's the longest side and it's across from the 90, it's a hypotenuse. Now, what's the next step? Shanna? Okay, figure out which one you're using. Which one are you using? Cos, because we have adjacent, we're looking for hypotenuse. I want you to solve, so write down the formula, solve for AC. Okay? Oops. I need to see every step. I still need to see two things, okay? So work-wise, I need to see cos 71 equals, so the substitution in, 147 over x. And then I need to do that, and then I need to see that too. Both of those, okay? Okay, you're looking for a denominator? So in the end, what does it become? 147 divided by cos 71. Right, you have to cross multiply, x moves to the numerator, then divide the cos 71 down. So do you want me to show you that, or you got it?
No, it's fine.
Okay, and what did that equal?
451 point something.
Yeah, 4.5.
And they want the nearest meter. It's pink.
452.
No, it's pink.
Oh, it's close.
It's flush.
Is that French?
452 to the nearest meter. Now, here's the thing, guys. Really important. Now that I know this side here, which is 452 meters, how can I get side AB? The easiest way.
A squared plus B squared.
If you know two sides, you can use Pythagorean. However, you have to use the exact value in your calculations. So here we're looking for this side here. We'll call it y maybe. So it would be y squared is equal to your hypotenuse squared minus, right? I'm just going to sub it in. So 452 squared minus 147 squared. So this point, I jumped a lot. So what we did, do you want me to show you here?
That's fine, we get it.
No. Okay. So if we cross multiply here, okay, that you get x cos 71 equals 147, and then divide by cos 71 to get x by itself, and that's how we get here.
Okay, we're done.
Okay. Now, so what was really important that I want you guys to know here, although we rounded this number to 452, in this next calculation, we have to use the exact value. So I know my hypotenuse, so my hypotenuse is the 452 squared minus the other side squared. You have to actually use your answer, your previous answer. So answer squared minus 147 squared. Oh, darn it.
Actually?
Yes, actually.
Why?
Because if you're ever reusing data that you found out, that you calculated, you have to, because if you keep rounding and keep using rounded answers, you're compromising your answer. And you could actually be off in the end. Okay?
Okay, let's use make the answers like that.
Especially with large numbers. I did it again. 147. 7 squared. There we go. Okay, and then what do you have to do next? And then square root, so that would equal 427.
That's exactly what I got. And it is another way.
Yeah, well, it worked out in this case that it wouldn't make a difference, but in some cases it will make a difference. So it's better just to be safe than sorry. So then our answers are AB is equal to 427 and AC is equal to 452. That's our conclusion. Okay? So you have time to practice and ask questions.
I get it.
Your homework, so let's circle these guys. Go to the next page. So A, B, C, D, and F. So basically everything except for E in number 1. A, B, C, D, F. Okay? Oh, and no G, H, I. That's nice. Number 2, 3, and 4.
We need to calm down.
Really?
No, I'm not into the
5, A, B, C only.
all four.
No, 4 was all of 4.
Well,
I said 4.
why would you do this?
I don't know.
Wait, all of B, C, and
Which one are you talking about?
4. A, B, C, D.
Yes, it's. Let me look at that one for a second.
Four questions.
But it's not. It's just like solving the same triangle.
Okay, G's pointless.
Let's.
Please chapter D.
Okay, we'll talk about. No, it's good. It's easy. It's fine. Okay, where were we? 5 ABC, right? Okay, no 6. 7.
All of them?
Well, AC, sure. Let's change it to AC. Take 1 away from it. So A and C.
8, no,
And then
no.
8A, just A, and 11. Okay?
Can we watch this together?
Oh, yeah.
Please give us a chance.
Yeah.
We'll actually work. Please.
Every time that happened,
No,
it
that
was,
was our one time for this one.
no, it was so bad. I learned from that moment that never
It
again.
was one time.
Yeah, it's all it took.
Give it a chance.
No.
Please. We'll actually work.
Doesn't matter.
No, don't do that. Don't do
Nope, not today.
Oh, God, no way. No. Alex, sister, got my butt. Good job.
Oh, yes. I'll come around to some of these. Okay. Read your white book. So first up is multiply both sides by 2. Not today. Another day. So now you have x equals 7.
When you're looking for the chapter out. Depends on which one you have. Get on. I'm family friends. I like cousins. This is my favorite. What's your name? That's not nice. There's sauce over here. That's not. Ariga pera no hakai. Ariga pera no hakai mesmo. Marshall, I sort of think of this you and you together because you don't think together. What? What's this sound? Could you read Sohcahtoa on the board?
Oh, you need Sohcahtoa? Nope. Nope. Stay over H.
Sohcahtoa.
Like a bird. Yeah.
See?
And then
What?
Toa.
Toa.
Toa. There you go.
Partial wasting my time, see?
It's on your front sheet. Over it.
This was your black with isolation. What was wow. I don't get anything. Like I watched the video, so I'm
It'll be for one when you Okay, so the next one. Am I still recording?